The entire $100 trillion global economy has one single point of failure. It's not a country, it's not a bank, and it's not even a politician. It is a company. In a town of 45,000 people in Netherlands that almost nobody has ever heard of its name, ASML. And this is their machine, a $350 million, 1 lakh individual parts with 3 Boeing cargo planes just to ship one unit. Zero competitors on earth. Without this machine, Apple stops, NVIDIA crashes, and the great AI revolution ends tomorrow morning.
China has been galvanized to create its own self-sufficient semiconductor industry.
Welcome to the world of ASML, the monopoly that doesn't just own the market, it owns the future. In 2021, a father in Michigan walked into a Ford dealership. He needed a truck for his construction business, but the salesman apologized because no trucks available, not next week, not next month, but maybe in 6 months if he was lucky. Same story at Toyota, GM, Honda. Across the world, over 11 million vehicles went unbuilt. Not because of steel shortage, not because of labor strikes, but because of a chip smaller than your fingernails made possible by one machine built by one company. The auto industry alone lost $210 billion in revenue that year. Hospitals delay equipment purchase. PlayStation 5 was impossible to find for over 2 years. And here is what nobody told that father in Michigan: that wasn't even a real crisis. That was a ripple. So, what we are building towards is the wave. So, they don't have competitors, they have disciples. While Intel and NVIDIA fight for the spotlight, ASML is the silent god that decide if they're even allowed to exist.
ASML stands as the foundational building block for all modern technology. Our systems enable the production of the most advanced microchips that power all of the most advanced technology that we use day to day.
In the world of high NA EUV, ASML has 100% market share. Not 70, not 90, 100%. If you want to build the future of AI or hypersonic missiles, you wait in line at a single building in Veldhoven, Netherlands. And the waiting list is year-long. Each machine costs more than a commercial passenger aircraft. So heavy, it requires 3 Boeing cargo planes to move, and only one company alone buys dozens of them every single year. TSMC. So delicate that a single speck of dust can halt production for an entire quarter, costing billions before anyone makes a single chip. This isn't manufacturing, this is industrial sorcery. And for the first time in modern history, the most critical technology on earth isn't American, it isn't Chinese, it is touch. So this is why Washington is terrified. This is why Beijing is desperate. Because whoever controls the machine, they control the 21st century. But how did a tiny Dutch company achieve what the entire US military industrial complex couldn't? To answer that, we have to look at physics that shouldn't exist. Why can't China just build their own version? Why can't the US military industrial complex with unlimited budget and the best engineers on earth simply reverse engineer this?
In the world of nanometers, physical and chemical processes deform the pattern. So as chip features continue to shrink, lithography becomes more challenging and more crucial.
Because what ASML does shouldn't be physically possible. Imagine trying to draw a single line on a grain of sand using a flashlight while standing on a moving train, and that line has to be width of a human DNA strand. Now do it 50,000 times per second perfectly every single time. That is what an ASML machine does inside every chip in your pocket right now. But the machine itself isn't even the deepest part of the moat. Inside every ASML unit are mirrors, not ordinary mirrors, the flattest objects ever created by human beings. If you expanded one of these mirror to the size of Earth, the largest imperfection on its entire surface would be 1 millimeter high.
The company that's responsible for setting new standards in the production of lenses and optics.
There is exactly one company on Earth that makes them. Carl Zeiss AG, Germany. Exclusive partner to ASML for over 25 years. You cannot replicate ASML without first replicating Zeiss. And you cannot replicate Zeiss without 25 years. You don't have. China has poured over $150 billion into semiconductors since 2014. The largest government technology investment in modern history. More than America spent on the entire Apollo program adjusted for inflation. In 2024 alone, China launched a single $47 billion fund specifically to close this gap. So, their best chip manufacturer today, still 5 years behind TSMC on leading edge production. According to Reuters, a senior ASML scientist, someone who spent years leading UV light technology, quietly disappeared from the Netherlands, but after some time reappeared in Shanghai under a new name, filing 8 EUV patents in 18 months. His signing bonus between $420,000 to $700,000 plus housing plus a new identity paid by Chinese state. He wasn't alone. China recruited an entire generation of former ASML engineers, offered them more money than they'd ever seen in the Netherlands. New passport, new names, new lives, and placed them inside a classified facility working on China's own EUV program, building in secret what took ASML 30 years and $9 billion to create. ASML builds the hammer, but TSMC is the only one who knows exactly how to swing it. The most important company most people have never properly understood. They take ASML's machine and do something with them that nobody else on earth can replicate. Not Samsung, not Intel, not any Chinese competitor. TSMC has spent 30 years developing the process, the institutional knowledge that turns a $380 million machine into the world's most advanced chips. And here is the fact that keeps defense analysts awake at night. Bloomberg report in May 2024 that both ASML and TSMC have the confirmed ability to remotely disable every advanced chip machine in Taiwan. The Dutch government held private meetings with ASML specifically about this capability. The Netherlands has even run invasion simulation to assess exactly what happens if China moves, and TSMC's own chairman Mark Liu said it publicly. If there is a military invasion, you will render TSMC factory non-operable.
Nobody can control TSMC by force. If you take a military force or invasion, you will render TSMC factory non-operable.
China wouldn't just be invading Taiwan, they'd be invading a factory that destroyed itself on arrival. The military price disappears the moment they reach for it. And then there's the financial dimension most people never consider. TSMC spends over $30 billion every single year just on capital expenditure to stay competitive. That annual spend is larger than the entire GDP of over 100 countries. This isn't a business. This is an arms race with a balance sheet forever. The most powerful nation on earth dependent on an island it cannot protect for technology it can no longer build. In 2020, the West looked at its semiconductor supply chain and realized something terrifying. They were naked, completely exposed the most critical technology underpinning modern civilization, concentrated in a single island, which is 100 miles off the coast of their biggest rival. So the response? Chips and Science Act. $52 billion to reassure semiconductor manufacturing onto American soil. Sounds enormous, but TSMC spends that in less than 2 years just on equipment. So America isn't catching up, America is starting over. But money isn't even the hardest part. The US hasn't built a leading edge semiconductor fab from scratch in over 20 years. An entire generation of engineers trained in software, not hardware. In Silicon Valley of code, not silicon wafer. America has the capital, America has the political will, but it has forgotten how to build things. And until American fabs are operational at scale, the United States remains at the mercy of one island, producing the technology that every American weapons, phone, car, and AI system depends on every single day. We like to think the digital age is inevitable, that progress is permanent. But our entire modern civilization is hanging by a thread. Manufactured by one company in Netherlands, operated by one island in the Pacific. The chip war isn't about technology, it's about who owns the 21st century. If ASML flatters, if the Taiwan Strait closes, the global economy doesn't just slow down, it goes back in time. So right now, you just watch this video. You know where the real power actually sits, not in the chip, in the machine that makes the chip possible. If that's the lens you want to see the world through, like, subscribe, and comment. This is exactly what we do here. And wait, if you want to watch how Mr. Beast makes $2.6 billion Beast Industry, so click on this video.